Hi guys, it's Chris, back in my cider shed with another cider to try and more samples, loads of samples at the moment, loads of samples. So we tried one yesterday from Tor Valley / Fernie Castle, I believe it is, which is a winery, but they also make cider, and Tor Valley is the name of their cider part of their business. And what have we got today? We have got this one, Monksford Strong Vintage Cider. So this is 7%. What does it say on the back? There was some good information on the back yesterday, so let's read the back. For hundreds of years, monks from Glastonbury Abbey crossed the River Axe on the way to collect fish from the Abbot's ponds at Marchie. Close to the ford now stands a small cider orchard from which we gather the juicy bittersweet apples for this single orchard blend. Once milled, the apples are gently pressed to release a naturally sweet juice. The juice is fermented in French oak barrels and matured for over a year to produce a satisfying, full-bodied cider with a hint of chalky tannin. So again, more barrels, and it was it French this time, no American, so maybe a bit more subtle. Although the one we had yesterday was really subtle. I mean, I got a little bit off it, of the oakiness, but not a great deal, which suited me fine because I'm not a big oak fan. So there seemed to be a theme as well that each of theirs is from a single orchard. So it's not varietals, it seems. It's a mix of apples from individual orchards, so they're representative of the orchard rather than individual apples, if you see what I mean. Which is interesting, is we don't know what the blend is. We just know that they all came from that orchard there, and this one came from that orchard there. That seems to be the narrative anyway. Right, one more thing I've got today. We've got some Somerset cider. So what goes with Somerset cider? Cheese. Cheese goes with Somerset cider. It really does. Goes with cider in general. In fact, and this little bit here is a cheddar. And cheddar is traditionally from Somerset. Cheddar is a place in Somerset. But this guy is not actually from Somerset. Nice rhyme, look at that. This is actually from Wales. It's called Hafod. But it's based on Victorian recipes and Victorian cheese-making books. So that's how they developed this recipe over 10, 15 plus years. It's called Hafod. It comes from Ayrshire cows, Ayrshire milk. Ayrshire cows produce great milk for cheese-making. So think about cows a bit like you think about apple varietals, or you think about grape varietals. Different beasts will give you different milk, which will give you different cheeses. Okay, so that not just breeds of cow, but between cows and sheep and goat, of course, and between breeds of different goat and breeds of different sheep. So all these different varietals. So these are from Ayrshire's, and Ayrshire's make great milk for making cheese. Good fat, good protein, all the things you need. This was a cloth-bound cheese, and they stopped cloth binding it, so they've gone for a natural rind. And I was very dubious when they did that, because when you take the cloth off, you start to lose moisture more quickly, so you'll get a drier cheese. I was quite sceptical about them doing that. And also you can get more air penetration, more bluing. Hasn't happened. Actually, it's been brilliant. I was sceptical for no reason. Actually, they did a good thing. It's delicious cheese at the moment, which is why I've got a big chunk of it in my hand right now. It's also meant to last me after my operation. In a couple of days, I've got a big bag of cheese to try and last me through the week. Probably won't last me through the week, but I try, I'll be able to eat this in no time. Right. But before we try the Hafod, let's try the cider. Tor Valley. Take the top off, so that is still. Not a peep came out of that bottle then. Strong vintage. We can see what colour it is already, basically. Let's pour it out in there. Get it in the glass. Move my bit of cheese. Get my thingamajig. That's the colour. That is the colour. Nice colour, isn't it? Just gone from gold into amber. That bright. I'm not sure whether it's filtered or not. I'm going to assume it's filtered because it is bright. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's filtered because it's bright. It's this bright, but I'm going to guess that's why it is so bright. Doesn't say about the yeast either. I don't know if they're using wild yeast or natural yeast. A lot of winemakers use wine yeast because that's just what they do. They don't really like to let nature do its thing too much. So like if you do like biodynamics or non-interventionist wines and stuff like that, wild wines or whatever you want to call them, they tend to be just let nature do its thing. They don't do anything. Just crush the grapes, let the wild yeast ferment it, and that's pretty much it. That can work brilliantly. Sometimes it doesn't work out so well. So a lot of winemakers go, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to intervene. I'm going to actually try and make the best wine I can through intervention. I mean, as little intervention as possible, but as much intervention is needed. Okay? So, let's give it a sniff. Lovely, appley, rich nose on this. Yeah, nice. There's some acidity as well there as well, which I like. Yep. Round, rich, appley, autumnal. Nice. Again, what we've been like my mum's shed again, she keeps apples in her shed after they fall off the tree. She keeps them quite well, and the shed tends to smell a bit like this. But this has got some zippy acidity from the apple on top of that as well, rather than just that rich apple skin character. Yeah, maybe it's stone fruit hidden in there somewhere, something like that. Okay, let's give it a taste. So this is bone dry. Yeah, bone dry. Solid tannins. Too cold, of course. Jesus Christ, Chris. I never learn. Too cold, but tell you what. Whatever's growing in them apple orchards, or that specific apple orchard, it's got some good fruit in it. This is nice. It's nice. Bone dry, solid tannins, really nice fruit in the middle. Almost a bit of like plum or apricot, I want to say as well in there. Any leatheriness on the back. Maybe the merest hint of hard tannins on the back. Just the merest hint. Clean as a whistle. No funk. Nice. I'm just getting like a slight honey character off the nose as well now. But yeah, it tastes like a classic Somerset cider to me, actually, this. But not as wild as some of them. Not as boldly acid as well as some of them. But it does have acid and the merest prickle of carbonation. Just a little bit. You know what? That just lifts it a little bit. Doesn't need any more, no less. I kind of like still cider, but I must say that just that hint of a prickle just makes it pop. Makes it pop. It's good. It's good. So Tor cider. Solid. Right. Shall we try it with some cheese? Yes, Chris. Okay. Let's do it. Do you want some? Because you can't have any. Right, that's a very little bit. I might have to go back for more. I've been very stingy with myself. Oh, look at that. Let's try it, shall we? White yellow in colour. A, because it's from cows, so it contains beta-carotene. And B, because it's from ashes. We've got quite high levels of beta-carotene in the milk. It's very yellow. Flipping it, that's nice. I'm going to try and get a bit from the rind. I love the rind of cheese. It tastes earthy, tastes of mouldy, but in a good way, like freshly tilled soil, that kind of thing. This is good. Great acidity, great salt. There's an earthy character to it. It's kind of a beefiness in there as well. There's a dark flavour. Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. I've inhaled a bit though. Excuse me. Don't inhale cheese. Alright. Top tip from a cheesemonger. I'm going to have one more bit of that. Blooming heck, it's good. Get some Hafod in your life. Go online, monscheesemongers.co.uk. Order some Hafod. It's brilliant. So yeah, it's great stuff. It's also drier in texture because it's not clothed. I think that's an interesting thing actually, because it's not clothed, it's losing a bit more moisture than it would have historically. And it's giving it a slightly more drier, friable texture. Jerry Montgomery's cheese is like that. North Cadbury. He actually puts less cloth on and less lard, so it dries out a bit more, so it gives you a dry, more friable texture. This has got that, and actually, I kind of like that slightly firmer texture. I think it's really good. Throw some cider. I'm trying to talk it up to my mouth. It's great. It's great. The acidity in the cider is pairing very nicely with the acidity in the cheese. That little bit of spritz in there, it's just like scrubbing the fats of the cheese off my palate a little bit. The apple, the fruitiness with the savoury character in this is brilliant. This has got earthiness. This has got that kind of earthy shed character, you know, the autumnal thing I was talking about with my mum. Lovely together. Really nice together. Really nice together. Cracking bit of cheese, that. Flipping heck. Sorry, I've got a bit more. I'm going to have a total bit from the rind. People don't eat rinds. Often eat the rinds. Unless it's plastic or wax or plastico, which is the shiny stuff you get on Gouda, Gouda, whatever you want to call it. Eat the rinds. You pay for them. This is sold by weight. I bought that. I'm going to eat it. And often, sometimes the rinds don't taste as good. Sometimes this is correct. And even the same cheese on day to day, the rind will taste different. But try it. If you don't like it, don't have any more. If you do, eat the lot. It's really good. And it tastes like the maturing rum. For somebody who spent a lot of time in cheese and maturing rums, this tastes to me like the maturing rum. It takes me there to the farm. It transports me. And I love that. I love that. One more mouthful. I love that texture. It's great. Slightly dry, denser texture. It's brilliant. That right there is a ploughman's lunch. What a lucky ploughman. That's all I can say. Okay, guys. Thank you for joining me. I'll be back again very soon, like tomorrow, with another cider to try. But until then, thank you for joining me in my shed. And cheers.